On here, Real Estate Machine Show. I want to share a story with you guys today. There's a lot of people. I'm very lucky. I want to put that out there immediately. I am very lucky for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I kind of want to share with you today is that I was lucky to be kind of put in front of, or I should say, personal development was put in front of me at a fairly young age. I was 19 years old when I kind of discovered by accident personal development, the idea of personal development. And the way that happened was Amway. Most of you, if not all of you, know or have heard of the company called Amway. It's still around. It's had a ton of good and bad and, bad reputations, bad stories, good stories, success stories, all kinds of things. It's a multi-level marketing type company, a pyramid scheme, perhaps, people have said. People have won and lost, a lot, being associated with Amway. And, when you hear the word Amway, you almost like cringe sometimes. A lot of people do, and that's fine. But I'm going to kind of give you my story with Amway and how it affects me still to this day, actually, almost, 30, geez, yeah, like 30 years later, 30 plus years later. So I had joined Amway with my parents in the traditional way, somebody recruited us or, showed us the plan, et cetera, et cetera. And, with the hopes that, I'm a 19-year-old kid, maybe I can make some extra money. I was kind of intrigued and lured by by the prospects of building a business and all that kind of stuff. My parents were into it, so we kind of did it together. I did my own thing alongside them. And kind of hit the ground running. Did we see massive success? No. Did we see a little success? No, not really. We did a little bit with it, but nothing to the degree where it was any sort of life-altering income or business, or to the fact that it hurt us in any way also. But it taught me something. It taught me something really. I shouldn't say that it taught me something. It did, but it introduced me to something, and that was personal development. And the idea that kind of what you consume affects your mindset and affects the way that you not only carry yourself, but your kind of your motivation and your inspiration throughout the day, throughout your life, and stuff like that. You hear people's success stories. You kind of flood your brain and flood your mind with all things that are success, and you learn from people who have been there and done it. You listen to their hardships, and then you listen to their success. And kind of all walks of life. People from all walks of life has joined that company, from people that have nothing, that came from nowhere, all the way to professional athletes. There were people involved with that company. And so I learned at 19 years old, and I started listening to tapes and, reading books and, How to Win Friends and Influence People and, The Seven Habits and all of those things that are kind of wrapped up into the personal development space. I learned at 19 years old, and I was exposed to at 19 years old. Now, did I spend the last 31 years or 30 years, um, every minute of every day ensconced in personal development? No, hell no. I had spurts and this and that. And, sometimes you're kind of all into it, and then sometimes you let it go and you're not really thinking about it. And then sometimes you get into a rut. You might get into a rut for years, or you might associate with people that have, nothing to do with that. And, you kind of become an outcast if you're into that stuff. Even to this day, sometimes I feel like an outcast to be into personal development and listening to YouTube videos and reading books and stuff like that. However, I would probably say that the last 6 years, I've kind of gone back to that. And it really has become a part of my daily life. And I do 100% believe that the practices that I do have contributed to any of my, little wins along the way. And just to simply keep a kind of a clear mindset and a positive outlook. This is not going to, just because you kind of get involved in personal development doesn't mean your wallet is going to automatically get full. You got to do the work, and you got to put in the time and you got to put in the effort. But to have that as a tool in your back pocket, I think it makes the path just a little bit easier, and maybe allows you to move a little bit quicker too, because that creates energy. The mindset creates energy. Energy and action create results when it comes down to it. And but what I wanted to also include in this video is that not, there's a ton of people that have no idea what personal development is, have had challenges in their life, and and have just keep getting beaten down to the point where their mindset is so negative and so predetermined, or this predisposition that things are going to go wrong, or that you're going to have a problem. The weather is going to be bad today. The I'm going to be late. So, all of these things that people kind of you know, carry around with them to keep them from doing what they want to do, or sometimes what they should do, is really, it's heartbreaking. And, I see it on a daily basis. I see it with people around me, and, people that I don't know, people that I'm associated with. There's two camps out there. There's the people that are, kind of taking the bull by the horns and taking life every day, and, attacking it. And then there's the others that, just have this doom and gloom feeling that everything's going wrong and everything's a problem and everything is negative. And, you don't have the skills to get out of that. You just don't have the skills. You don't have the wherewithal to even know where to start to fight those feelings and to fight that stuff. And it's really too bad. Like I said, it's really heartbreaking to watch. And it's, yeah, I don't know. I think people need to, at some point in their life, people should be looking to be more open-minded, consider alternative possibilities to things, and alternative outcomes may come about that. Um, I don't know. I can kind of go on and on. I'm not some kind of psychologist or anything. I'm just trying to explain and kind of give some color to where I've come from, where I think the genesis of some of my behaviors came from outside of my, early childhood and, parents and family and siblings and that kind of stuff. But I do believe that, a pivotal point in my life was joining Amway, and being introduced to personal development to a degree, and kind of embracing the idea that what you consume and what you put in your between your ears, affects how you view life, and the possibilities that life could possibly bring to you. So anyway, I don't know, let's see some comments in there if anybody else is in the personal development space, or if they are, kind of take advantage of any of the stuff out there that keeps them on the straight and narrow, and keeps them trying to achieve every day. And also, who's struggling? Who's struggling? Put a message out there. Let's connect, and you know, any way that I can help anybody else out there, I'd be happy to do it. Anyway, Chris Matan, Real Estate Machine Show. Thanks for joining me today. We'll talk to you real soon.